and tell everybody about yourself.
Okay, like you said, I'm Janelle.
Mhm.
Um, so
We'll
I
get
guess the first thing about me is I'm a mom. I
mm.
work in corporate America. I've been in corporate America for about 11 years now. Um,
What
Along
did you
with
do for
that,
the Jackson?
I work in I work in compliance for a financial firm.
Mm.
So a lot of what I do has to do with like terrorist financing and anti-money laundering laws and regulations. Been doing that for about 8 years now.
Sheesh. So your customer service skills must be on a beam, though, because you got to deal with a lot of, not even a lot of influx of money, but just people issues, like big people issues. And when I say big people, like company issues type things, right?
Yes, a lot
Uh,
of that. But yeah, with that, I'm also I'm starting grad school in like a week. So
mm.
that's I'm about to become a student again.
Uh, wow. So you nervous, excited? What's up?
A little bit of both because
What you going to grad
I'm
school
going
for?
for something. Yeah, so what I'm going for is something more in the healthcare fields. I'm going for a healthcare administration.
Mm.
So what I want to do is transition to working in policy and compliance within the healthcare sector.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm going back to school.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, I think it's dope because you get a lot of people that use this time as, you know, they're depressed, they're out of whack, they don't know what to do, they don't know what's going to happen next. The higher ups are telling us one thing, but then you go outside and everybody seems fine to me besides the mask. So I like how you use this time period to, kind of further your education, also bettering yourself, because a lot of people, like I said, are using this time to, and I hate to say feel sorry about themselves, but
Hmm.
it's kind of easy to do that when so many distractions that we could have used are stripped from us. So now you're kind of caught with yourself and your thoughts. And like you said, you use this time to say, all right, I'm a mother. I've been working in the field for a little while, but what can I do to bring more value to myself? So did COVID bring it
Exactly.
along, or were you always? Is that something you were always thinking about?
It's something I've been thinking about for a while now, but I would say COVID, I felt like I have more time now. I'm not traveling as much as I, normally am because, it's a lot of restrictions
Mhm.
and I've been putting it off for about 2 years now. So I felt like this is a great time to just get back where I'm like kind of have my focus back.
Got you. Um, and like I said, it's the perfect time because I actually did the same thing with myself. Um, you know, you started out feeling like, well, damn, like we can't go out the house, we can't
Exactly.
go to the grocery store, we can't go to work, and on top of that, you still want me to pay bills. You ain't give us no money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I understand how so many things that could come at a person that can kind of throw you off the rails. So it's kind of dope to see that happening. But one thing I definitely wanted to talk about is how you just spoke on COVID restricting your traveling,
Mhm.
as much as you used to. What's the difference now between prior to COVID?
So I would say, so my first trip out of the country since COVID was a few weeks ago when I went to Mexico. A lot of countries have restrictions to where, okay, when you come, you have to quarantine there for X amount of days. So that's an issue. So if you travel somewhere, you have to stay within your hotel resort for about 14 days, the 2 weeks like standard quarantine. Then some other places, it's you have to get tested when you get there. And for me, I feel a little wary about testing in other countries because I've just heard like negative like perceptions about it. So it has me kind of not want to go to certain places. And also as US citizens, we're restricted to where we can go since we have so many bans for like Europe and Dubai and Spain and those places. They're also not allowing us to enter their borders either. So it puts a limit on where we can go. And it's also if you're willing to give your health information to other health officials in other countries. So
Mm.
I guess that I would say that's like a hurdle for me too. Um, but as like other places like open up, there's different guidelines. So I'm looking forward to more travel if I can.
Got you. I mean, I like. traveling within the U.S. I haven't, myself, I haven't been outside of the U.S. yet. You know,
Okay.
COVID kind of that, but quarantining in a place that you're unfamiliar with for 14 days. What is that experience like? Have you had to do that or no?
I haven't. I have
No.
not.
So you've
That's kind of
probably
why I haven't been able to. What was that?
so when you went to Mexico, did you had to get tested or just like different type of
No.
guy?
So Mexico didn't have any restrictions. You didn't have to get tested before you arrived, and they didn't perform any testing there. The only thing they
Mm.
required of you was to complete a health survey, just kind of like questions you have to answer before you go to like a doctor's office now. It's like, have you traveled anywhere within X amount of time? Have you shown any symptoms and so forth? Those are the kind of questions they're asking. And before you leave the country, they have to scan that code on your phone to show, like, I guess, validation of you completing the survey before arriving.
Mm.
So that was the only thing that was in place, but I felt safe there. Like going out to eat there compared to how things are here, I definitely felt like they have better like guidelines on how to keep people safe, I would say.
So,
Because if you go out to eat there, they sanitize your hands, they check your temperature. Even I went on an excursion where I did a cruise for the day, and they sanitized the bottom of our shoes, and it just they sanitized our shoes. They washed our feet off with ocean water. So I just kind of felt like even when you come eat here, it's like some
you
places
take
do
a second
temperature
and stuff
checks,
like that.
some do, some don't, and they also aren't sanitizing. You know,
Mm.
when they don't sanitize you per se. So I
Yeah.
did feel a little safer there, and things were at a limited capacity because that was my third time going to Mexico, so it wasn't as crowded. So I enjoyed that about it too.
Mm. Well, yeah, I definitely noticed that
Yeah.
about a lot of places. Like, I like the outside vibes. If the weather is cool, like, I really don't have a problem, going on a date or catching a drink outside, watching the game or something like that, whatever you may be doing. But
Mm-hmm.
sanitizing the bottom of your shoes when you're going to walk on the ground anyway that's the first time I heard something like
Yeah, I was like, okay.
that. Yeah. But hey, I mean, everybody's different, I guess, to each his own. So do you travel
Mm-hmm.
more so outside of the country or in the country? When, like
I
I
do a
said, let's
little,
just take COVID away.
just like COVID away. I would say a little bit of both, but definitely more out of the country.
Mm.
Yeah,
So which
there's a
one
lot
would
of
you
places
would
in
you
the.
prefer?
I prefer going out of the country
Mm. So I take it
personally.
you probably never seen Taken. Got you.
I have seen Taken,
Yeah.
Taken Two.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Um, I'm not. I started traveling at a young age,
Mm.
so I guess I'm not really too. I like it does cross my mind sometimes. Like, dang, what if this was to happen to me while I'm on vacation? But I just like watch my surroundings, watch who's around me, and I'm comfortable with it.
Mm. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
because
wait.
both my parents are from Jamaica, so going there, like growing up, I traveled there every summer. So
Mm.
I would say that has something to do with like me being comfortable with the experiences.
So not distance wise, but just off of experience. It's kind of like taking a bus or a train to, you're
Hmm.
that comfortable just being on the plane, like, so high up in the air. It's I still can't get over that just yet. But I think I will one day, but just it still kind of bugs me out.
So have you been on a plane?
Yeah, I've been on a plane, but a plane
Oh,
that's
you've
going
been
over a long period of
far
water.
distance. Yeah.
Mm-mm. I have not. That I have not. So
Just go to sleep.
it's different because it's like every country and every has their own rules and guidelines, like like you just said. So
Hmm.
as we seen on the news, there were protests all over the world. So did you kind of feel that energy when you were in Mexico, or is it just like a resort kind of place?
Like what type of energy? Like a Black Lives, like just a movement in general.
Yeah, like we were saying, what we were seeing on the news, like they made it seem like it was everywhere. Like everybody was down with the movement. Everybody was with the shits. Everybody was painting Black Lives Matter on the biggest street, and they, all that stuff. So
I would say I didn't see anything there that represented any type of movement or protecting a group of people. I didn't see anything of that nature. Um, I was on the resort for a majority of this trip that I just took because, one with COVID going on, that was like an issue too. Because sometimes I am more of a tourist, or I want to like explore the town. We did do some local shopping one day, but I didn't even see anything like that.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I guess Mexico's a little different behind some eyes. So,
Yeah.
I'm tripping
I could,
about that.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in like the Dominican Republic or parts of Haiti, just certain places where maybe blacks, were, more predominant there, or darker skinned people, maybe. Yeah, I didn't see it in Mexico.
Mhm. So,
Mhm.
because I really wanted to ask about that, because we see a lot of stuff about police brutality, lack of justice, so to speak. We're still begging for justice for Breonna Taylor. And just like the current climate of the world, you said earlier, like you're a mother. So does that kind of add on to, because it's stressful being a parent. I'm not a parent, but I can imagine it's stressful
Mhm.
just having a child out there in the world when you're not there. Even if they're with a family
Mhm.
member, you're like, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? So does that kind of add on to the stress that you already had being a parent?
Oh yeah, it definitely does. Even like with us, we live in the suburbs where it's predominantly Caucasians where we live. So I
Mm,
already have to deal with, he got called the N-word by a friend in the fourth grade, and
mm,
he defended himself. So just speaking to him about our, just differences, you know what I mean? And
mm,
just like what makes us similar, like we're all human. So I feel like continuing those conversations are important. And like even though like some kids are shy, but you always have to kind of like instill in them how to stand up for themselves,
mm,
when they see injustice. So, but like you said, it definitely does make you wary, like when you're not around, like what's gonna happen.
yeah.
And now that my son is entering his teen years,
Mm,
I'm just like, he's gonna be a man soon. You see what happens to black men in the media, and just black men, that we know personally.
mm.
So
It's just,
it's,
I think it's
it's
unfortunate because it's like, the more we see things kind of change, the more it's like, it's not really changing, or is it really changing? So, and I always look at it like this, like, because everybody tells us the importance on voting. And I feel like this vote right here, like, give or take, we're voting for the lesser of two evils because I'm not voting for Donald Trump. But the other side is not far off him either. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
how do you go into this so-called most important election of our lifetime, just with that mindset of just saying like, not only thinking for yourself, but just thinking for your child?
It was like you said, I'm going with the lesser evil with this election too. And even though like Biden has had, he has his history, not really standing up for like black and, women rights and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Everything we know about him. I feel like it's the lesser evil at this point. You know, the the minorities have been on him about having a black agenda. So I feel like, even though he followed under Obama as his vice president, like maybe he can bring some change, and then also having Kamala Harris as his VP. Hopefully she represents us in a way that we need. And I think
Mhm.
she will. So I'm okay with giving them my vote. I feel like I'm voting for Kamala and not Biden. That's just how I feel like.
But yeah, I mean, Kamala is
Yeah.
Jamaican, of Jamaican descent, so Wagwan. It's crazy. I don't get it. I don't really get any of it. But back to this traveling thing. Do you think traveling, because I noticed that you had something that you were working on, but before I asked you about that, do you think traveling can be a form of therapy for you?
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely a form of therapy. And that's a part of self-care for me. Like some people, everybody, self-care comes in different form. But for me, like traveling, definitely. Um, I like, even when I'm away, I prefer going to a spa while I'm away on vacation. It's like just something else that's relaxing. Even being on the plane for me is like kind of meditative. Like I don't have much distractions around me. I can't really be on my phone, you know? So it is definitely a form of self-care for me.
Mm.
Just, mhm.
Something to take care of that because
Yeah,
I seen you
yeah.
eat squash and grapes, and I thought that might have been your therapy. But I figured since you like to travel a little bit more, then maybe that was like a little bit more therapeutic for you. So yeah, because I never thought about it like that until I actually thought about like, hey, if you don't talk to a mental health therapist, but you're constantly like moving from one location to another, not like moving to live or stay there, but like moving from
Mhm,
one place to another, vacationing there, getting, embracing different cultures. It can be a little bit therapeutic, but it can also be a culture shock. So were you ever like
mhm.
culture shocked when you first started to go? Because I know you said you came up in Jamaica. You were like back and forth between here in your younger years.
No, I didn't really have much of a culture shock. Um, I feel like, and then where I grew up, it was also very diverse. I was introduced to a lot of cultures from a very early age. So I feel like whenever I'm somewhere new, I try to embrace it as much as I can.
Mhm.
That's pretty much what it's been for me so far.
So does that put you at an advantage though? Like from between you and the average person, like you can share that knowledge from everywhere that you've been to your child.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it does.
Mm.
Because I feel like a lot of what divides people today is just misinformation and just not being educated on certain things.
Mm.
So I feel like definitely my experiences does put me, and I'm able to educate my child and so forth. So yeah, I definitely appreciate those experiences.
Mm.
And yeah, I feel
And
like
it's
they play a
interesting you
big
said that.
part in like, yeah, yeah, I feel like they play a big part in like who I am and just, like my
Mhm.
family and stuff.
I'm gonna say because it's interesting you say that like miseducation and like being misformed on those things. Like I think that may be one area of how we can improve the relationship between us and police is just a lot of these guys that are policing in the neighborhoods that they're terrorizing, they didn't grow up there. So they don't
Hmm.
know certain people. They don't like if I were to take a cop that lived in Camden, and if I were to take a person that lived in Camden that people respected and make him a cop, he'd be less likely to just pull you over and then start violating you because it's like, all right, I know this guy, bro. You driving drunk, you gotta get home to Stacy, bro. Like you gotta get home to Stacy and the kids. I'm gonna let you go this time,
Absolutely.
but don't make me be the bad guy next time. As opposed to take you out the car and doing a bunch of weird stuff to you. It's like I think that experience right there, like just knowing, like I know these people
Hmm.
and I know their
Yeah.
intent. Not everybody's a good person, but not everybody is a bad person either. So it allow you to interact
Exactly.
with them on the level where I'm not your authority. I'm in a position where I have to do my job, but allow me to do my job to where it can help both of us.
Exactly.
A little bit.
I agree with
So,
that. Yes.
my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with what you were saying.
That doesn't happen often. I appreciate it. But so you have the Fit Girls Health and the Fit Girls Club, the Health and Wellness. What is
Yes.
that about?
So this is something I've been wanting to do for the past 2 summers now.
Mm,
Um, another part of like what I do for self-care is also working out. So
yes.
I would say about like the past 5 years, I've been really focused on my physical health. So I would always work out by myself or with my brothers, whoever. And then I started getting into like a lot of boot camp classes. I've done kickboxing, CrossFit. I've done a couple marathons, with a group of people. And I found how important it is to like work out with like-minded people or even people you have differences with. And you get to, it's like sort of like networking and doing something that you enjoy at the same time. So I'm like, okay, I have all these friends that are also interested in working out, and they know people who have interest, the same interest, or people that want to know more about fitness and taking care of, just their well-being. So it's just something that we're doing in the park in Cherry Hill. And it's gonna be, everything's free for the day. We're gonna do a few things where it's like meditative walk. We're gonna talk about mental health. It's a few girls that do go to counseling that are gonna share like their input on what they've gained from it. And we're also gonna have a workout as well, like a full body workout within the park, and talk about nutrition. So just your overall well-being. And it's 3 hours out of the day.
Mm.
So
So
yeah.
what is a meditative walk? Because I've never heard of that before.
So meditative is just, I would say meditative to me is just like being just kind of, I know a lot of people meditate, and I haven't gotten to that point of stillness yet in my life where I feel like I can really meditate and not have any thoughts going through my mind. I'm always
Yeah.
thinking about something.
Mhm.
So I guess just to kind of like be in a meditative state, not really talking or interacting while we're walking, but just, so I would say, yes, I would say just kind of like being still in your thoughts while
Mhm.
we go for a walk. And walking is, another important thing within fitness. I think that's just mostly what that would consist of. So it's a mile walk, and we're gonna like just try to keep it peaceful, not much interaction while we go on the walk, and then after that we can get started with the workout and talk about the topics for the day.
That's good. I feel
Yeah.
like the importance of, especially now too, the importance of physical fitness should be at the top of any list, whether you're Republican, Democratic, whatever you're trying to do for this country. Make America great again, so to speak. Great slogan, executed poorly by a terrible person. But I just think that that should be at the top of the priority, because I don't like to shame people for what their body looks like. But I want people to understand that, yo, you can do what you want to do. And me personally, being an overweight guy, getting down to where I'm going, and then trying to get even further, you feel
Hmm.
different when you
You
lose weight,
do.
when you get yourself in shape. Like, damn what everybody else says, like, I feel good. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, do you see this country? Because there's this thing, I don't even want to say it, but fat acceptance. Like, we're accepting everybody for just being obese or out of shape or not healthy, and you
Hmm.
shame people for saying, "Hey, like, why don't you come work out with me?" Or, "Hey, like, it
Do you
wouldn't
feel
hurt
like
to."
that's me shaming people?
No, no,
Is that
no,
what you're
no.
saying?
I'm
Oh, what
saying,
did you say? Sorry.
I'm saying, like, how do you move like that, or how do you try to inspire like that in a world where it's almost looked down upon
Negative
to
success.
have somebody try to get in shape, to have somebody try to better their physical, which is
Hmm.
another form of mental health.
It sure is. So I feel like for me, it's definitely not something I'm pushing. Well, fitness is never something that I would push on anyone, just like I wouldn't with like any like religious belief that I have. I feel like I'll talk, like I don't have a problem talking to people about my journey. And if they want to share with me, I'm never gonna
Mhm.
say, okay, well, you should do this or you should do that. Um, but I just feel like for me, I'll just say, hey, I'm doing something. Would you want to join? And then that's it for me. But if people come to me personally and say, hey, like I want to eat better, I want to get into a routine for working out, like I don't mind sharing that. And
Mm.
I have plenty of friends who I get in my notes app in my phone, and I'm like, here's some meal plans, here's some workouts, this is what I'm doing, and I don't mind sharing. But I'm never, I guess, like I try not to be judgmental or push how I feel or my lifestyle on anybody, like ever. But like you said, the country is accepting of people who choose to live unhealthier lifestyles, and I wish it wasn't that way, but that's just where we're at right now.
That was a good answer. I like how you wiggled out of that without getting in trouble.
Of course not.
So, what inspired you to want to do this? Because it seems
Okay.
like, from what you told me, this isn't about money or really getting people in shape. You really want to help people in a way that can help other areas in their lives?
Mhm. So the reason why I wanted to, I would say I grew just like more confidence in myself when I started really taking care of, my body, and I kind of feel like I feel I enjoy inspiring other people, I would have to say. So like, if someone takes any little bit, piece of information from that day and like incorporates it into their life, that's I will feel good knowing that. So
Mm.
that's pretty much what it is for me. Because like growing up, I wanted to be a teacher, right?
Mm. Oh my God.
So
Teacher?
yeah, yeah, I wanted to be a teacher. So
Mm.
now that like health is a part of my lifestyle, I love when I can educate others on it. So it makes me feel good.
I feel like if teachers could drink wine on the job, or at least like take a
Yeah.
weed break, and then they'll be a little bit more. It'd be a lot better off. The youth would be a lot
Yes,
because teachers are going through it. They're
agreed.
not getting paid enough. They're underpaid. They're dealing with some badass kids. Don't matter if you're black, white, Mexican, whatever. And they just
Exactly.
a lot of them hate going to their jobs. Like
Yes.
I noticed that after I graduate, like wow, like shit, I could work at
Mhm.
Walmart and get paid more than you, buddy. God bless you.
Yes, I was in my second year. I was doing observations. Like, and you tell me I'm only gonna make like 40,000 a year? No.
Worth it.
But they do deserve a lot more.
Mm. So
They sure do.
there's some people watching this, not people, but I'm pretty sure there's some guys watching this who are noticing like, hey, she's a beautiful lady. She's got a lot going for herself. She travels. She seems like
Thank
she would be a
you.
match. So, what one are you dating during this COVID era?
I am dating during this COVID era.
Okay. So
Hmm.
let me ask, what would you, because I want to ask this in closing, what would you, Janelle, look for in a potential mate when you go out and you're being courted by guys? Like you may go on a date with one guy and like, he's handsome, but you just didn't click. And you like, oh, this guy's ugly, but yo, look, I can, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does Janelle look for that's going to make her say like, hey, I think I got one right here?
Okay. So I don't really have a list, but
Okay,
um,
that's
I
me, but
would
that's what's
say I would say someone that definitely knows how to hold a conversation. One, because I'm definitely a talker. So
up.
someone I don't always want to be the one talking.
Okay.
So that, and then also someone that doesn't mind sharing their truth. Whether it's something that's embarrassing, um, yeah, whether it's something embarrassing or something they think may not be appealing to someone else. That's like always being your truth. That's how I try to live my life. Um,
What's an example of
someone
a
that has to
truth?
say a truth.
And I want to, before you say anything, I'm a fan of Insecure, right? So I'm not sure if it was, I
Okay.
think it was season one. Molly was on a date with the guy that used to work at the car dealership, and they were
Hmm.
drinking, and one thing led to another, and they're both just telling each other about their past. And he's like, "Oh yeah, just one night, my best friend went down on me, but it's no big deal." She's like,
Oh, I remember that episode.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, what kind of truth? Because you can get a truth and be like, whoa, oh, look at the time. I gotta go pick my son up from school. I'm like, hey, it's COVID. School's closed. I'm like, yeah, yeah, bye.
So you're asking me if I would be accepting of something like that? Or is that too truthful?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is the truth that you're like, wow, that's pretty brave. Because there's, no, that's pretty brave. Then there's like, whoa, whoa, all right, check.
I would say so. I would say one of the things when it comes to truth is if I'm telling you, like, say if we're on a date and I'm telling you what my intentions are with dating, And it's kind of like if you don't feel the same way about like where you are with your life right now, say if you don't want to have marriage but and kids, but I say I want that on the day and you're just doing that to appease to me. So something like that. Or people just like talking about experiences that they've had with like either in their childhood or as an adult. You know, we all have like little embarrassing things about us, but I feel like that's also a form and a way for people to connect because I may have went through the same thing, you know, vice versa. So just like talking about that. So I know like more people, you know, reveal more about themselves as you get to know them. But I feel like even little small things about yourself early on is a big thing for me. So I would say something like that, you know, something along those lines.
Okay, so no potential guy better not ever tell you if he was with one of your male friends or anything like that, because she is out of the door, guys. I'm just letting you know if you swing that way, you missed out on this one. So, Janelle, can you please tell everybody where they're going to find you at on your social media platforms, where they can?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is justjsc, JUSTJSC. And I'm not really on any other social media platforms.
Me neither. That makes two of us. So also, guys, if you do go to her Instagram page, make sure you click the link in her bio. Check out what she's got to offer her and her friends for the Health and Wellness Club, for the Fit Girls Health and Wellness Club, so to speak. Check it out. Click the link in the bio. And if you're interested, give her a holler. You know what I'm saying? It can't hurt because I think the only thing is it can help as opposed to hurt you. You know, so prioritize your health, prioritize your mental health, and get with Janelle. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we get out of here?
I'm gonna just say thank you. This is my first time ever being on a podcast. I was a little nervous, but I hope it's not. And I really enjoyed talking to you.
I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're not nervous anymore, though, because I noticed you were a little bit, but you know,
I know, right? Like,
you got cool. You know, you were sipping on your wine. If I knew, I would have got my wine out too. You know, so but
next time we'll be ready. You know.
Matter of fact, yeah, there definitely will be a next time. I'm definitely going to go to the store and see what I can get. That next time I talk to her, and this will be in person. Right now, we're just working though. But guys, my name is Karan from the World of Cute podcast, and me and Janelle, we out.